Alrighty, welcome to Cold Waters. This is actually one of my favorite pastime games. Um, for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge naval warfare fan, specifically undersea warfare with submarines. Um, I've always been, really interested in submarine warfare and naval warfare in general. Um, Growing up as a kid, I was really fond of submarine movies, like U-571, Crimson Tide, K-19. All of those, just to name a few, were some of my favorites. And so when I discovered Cold Waters, it was almost my way of seeing that those movies that I used to watch be put into a video game, and it absolutely blew my mind. Um, it's been something that I've been playing in my pastime, just when I'm bored, and things like that. And a lot of you have seen me play this game before, but you don't really know what it is. Um, so that's why we're going to do a Let's Play on this one. Um, we're not going to do anything crazy. I'm just going to show you the basics of the game, really, and explain to you what it is and how we go through about it. How through about it. Man, my English is great sometimes. So we're going to do a simple mission. We have to hunt and kill a Soviet Typhoon-class boomer and evade its high-tech escorts. Um, A boomer is a ballistic missile submarine. It's a submarine that carries warheads that could literally end the world. The Typhoon is a certain type of Russian submarine, and it's actually the largest submarine class ever built. Um, it's approximately the same size as a World War II aircraft carrier. Um, so this thing is massive. So we are going to try to sink the boomer before it can approach to wherever it's going in order to launch its missiles. Um, the Typhoon is also being escorted by multiple attack submarines, so we are truly at odds here against the Russians. So I'm going to do my best to ensure that we sink the missile submarine and also escape with our lives. So with that, we are going to play a Los Angeles class attack sub, Flight 1, which means that it is the most basic LA class there is. Some of the old school ones that were first built. So we have our standard Mark 48 torpedoes, decoys, tomahawks, anti-ship, anti-land attack missiles. Um, so here we go. So for this, we shouldn't have any surface contacts. We are in the middle of the Arctic. There's icebergs, polar ice caps everywhere, so we're going to be having a lot of, if not all, undersea combat. So let's consult with the ship's inventory and see what kind of weapons we're going to be rolling out with. Let's load some more decoys. 4 should be good, and the rest we'll just put in the torpedoes. Okay, so we have 18 Mark 48s, 4 Moss decoys. I'm going to go ahead and load Tube 4 with a Moss. All hands man battle stations.
Contact bearing 290, designated Sierra 1.
Okay, so we have a contact bearing 290.
Con sonar new contact bearing 318, designated Sierra 2.
Okay, and let's look at the map here.
Con sonar new contact
Yep,
bearing 2.
they're popping up everywhere.
4, designated Sierra 3.
So these are potentially submerged submarines, and they are off our starboard side. So they are somewhere over here, and you can see the iceberg here. So our depth is 329 feet below the surface, and if you look above us, it's nothing but ice. So we have no feasible reason to surface, and nor would we want to, because there could be recon planes up there that could triangulate our position and give them to the Russians. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ultra quiet,
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
which means that the crew observes severe noise restrictions as to not make any sounds at all, so the Russians can't detect our sound in the water because, you know, as everybody knows, sound amplifies inside of water. So, like, if somebody were to drop a pen, you would be able to hear that in the water on the outside of the submarine if you have a sonarman who's very good at his job. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our sonar panel and we're going to try to identify these contacts. So this one, contact Sierra 1, it's the strongest one, so we're going to try to get a positive reading on it. We need to match its sound decibels up here to what is showing up on our sensors here. Not quite. Okay. Signature matches the Typhoon. So I believe Sierra 1 is the missile submarine that we're going after. So we're going to designate that as Sierra 1 Typhoon.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as
And they're heading right for us. Alright, so let's try to identify these quickly. Sierra 2, more than likely going to be an escort. I believe it to be a Sierra class fast attack submarine.
Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as submerged submarine.
And Sierra 3, I believe is a Sierra as well.
Con sonar, Sierra 3
Okay.
is classified as submerged submarine.
So this is going to be a tough battle. Sierras are very deadly. The Typhoon shouldn't be all too hard to destroy. It takes a lot to take them out. So what we are going to do is we are going to turn towards them. So we are going to come right to course 305.
Come right to 305. Helm aye.
Speed steady 5 knots. Still rigging for silent running. And the Russians do not know that we're here. Because they're not pinging away with active sonar yet. Every submarine is always running passive sonar, and you can Google the difference between active and passive. I don't really have a lot of time to explain sonar and think of how to kill these guys at the same time. But think of it like a bat, essentially. Passive sonar is you're listening really for any noise in the water. So like a ship's propeller turning, like ours is, or a rudder moving from left to right. Everything makes a mechanical sound. So we're listening for those vibrations in the water. And active sonar
Helm, steady course.
is we emit a high frequency ping and it travels through the water. And essentially the ping reflects off of whatever's out there and the sound comes back at us. And we can use the time that the sound was in the water from the moment it left our submarine to when it hit the contact. We can determine the time that the sound was out there, the distance that the submarine is from our ship. So we have a contact right in front of us, and we can actually see it here off in the distance. They are pretty level with us. What I want to do, however, is I want to go deeper, because the deeper you are in the water, the harder to detect you are.
Make depth 600 feet, dive high.
We're going to dive to 600 feet. The ambient noise of the water around us is 75 decibels. So it's pretty quiet right now. This Typhoon is going to pop up right in front of us any second. And when that happens, we are more than likely going to fire. Because I don't see us getting around these Sierras. We're already in way too close. If we try to turn left and go over here, quickly, they're gonna hear us, and they're gonna start shooting. So it's gonna get really, really hairy, really quick. And when that happens, I'm pretty much just gonna fire on the Typhoon and start running. So I'm gonna prepare tube 1. Prepare tubes 1 through 3. Stand by to fire. Contact Sierra 1. Bearing 297. Let's go ahead and turn to intercept 297.
Come left to 297. Helm aye.
Okay. This Sierra's gonna come in for the kill. It's gonna try to get us. Alright, here comes that Typhoon. We should be able to see her any second. There she is. Man, that is a big son of a bitch.
Con, helm, steady course.
Yeah. So as soon as we fire, she's gonna go deep. Launch her countermeasures, try to avoid our torpedoes. Yeah. So this is it, essentially. Alright, Sierra 1 Typhoon, bearing 287. Prepare tube 1.
Dive at 600 feet. Dive aye.
Tube 1 bearing 275. Final bearing and shoot. They're going active, they know where we are. Shoot tube 1. Tube shoot. Torpedo away, prepare tube 2. Final bearing and shoot. Shoot tube 2. Tube 3. Shoot tube 3. We're gonna fire the decoy. Decoys away. All head flank left full rudder. Torpedoes inbound. We're gonna go deep. Try to avoid these torpedoes. Launch countermeasures.
Fire control. Weapon passing 700 feet.
Jeez. Golly. Alrighty, so God, it's hard to keep track of everything. Let's load some more decoys up. Alright, so right now our torpedoes are locked on the Typhoon. So that's good. Uh-oh. Shit. Okay, so I had to blow our ballast to avoid that torpedo, which means we are going to crash into the ice cap. This is not good. I'm going to try and keep us down for as long as we can.
Torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Alright.
Passing 400 feet.
We got the Typhoon, and we got one Sierra. That's good. There's still one submarine out there, though. Okay, so we're going quiet now. Those torpedoes are still coming at us. Our ballast has been blown, which means that there is a bunch of air inside of the sub that is trying to force the submarine to surface. So I have to counteract that by permanently sticking the dive planes in a downward position, so that way we remain submerged. Because if we surface right now, we're going to hit the ice, and it'll destroy the submarine. I had to blow the ballast to raise the submarine rapidly in order for us to evade that first torpedo. So this is just one giant mess. That other Sierra is really trying to find us, which we're making all kinds of noise. They know exactly where we are. But you see, they are moving just as fast as we are. So even though they have active sonar going, it's still hard for them to hear us.
Passing 600 feet. Con, sonar reports ice ahead. Passing 5.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Passing 400 feet.
Essentially what the Sierra is doing right now
Passing 300 feet.
is you can hear those loud pitched tones in the distance, but their submarine is also moving just as fast as we are, and really what they are trying to do is they are trying to
Passing 300 feet.
listen to someone whispering while they are sprinting. So it's really hard for them to hear us right now. So that's why we're still going as fast as we are, and we're trying not to die.
500 feet.
So that's always important. So
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
we have a fix on the Sierra. It's right there. She's trying to surface, and she can't through the ice. Dumbass.
Knuckle formed.
Launch your countermeasures. Countermeasures away. Torpedoes have been distracted.
Con, knuckle formed. Passing 600 feet.
We're gonna kill this bitch.
Sonar reports ice ahead.
Standby tube 1, point blank firing. All back full. Shoot tube 1. All head flank. Launch countermeasures.
Con, fire control. We've lost the wire.
Our torpedo is away, going right for that Sierra. Got her.
Contact, Sierra 3, last bearing
Oh,
3,
jeez.
2, contact breaking up.
And the Russian torpedo, they actually shot themselves there. And they're doing it again. The Russians shot at us, but their torpedo thinks that they are us. So
Sonar, no longer cavitating.
they essentially just shot themselves in the foot here.
Knuckle formed.
So there are no more torpedoes, so we're going to run silent
Ship for ultra quiet.
and prevent being detected again. And we need to actually,
Three knots. Maneuvering on.
we need to quickly get to a position where we can surface, because our ballast tanks are still full of air. Yeah.
Passing
So
600 feet.
we've completed our mission rather successfully, surprisingly. I don't know if it's just because I've been
Con
playing the
sonar,
game
We are cavitating.
playing the game for so long, or what, but we just destroyed 2 fast attack submarines, which were pretty advanced for this era. This is the 1980s, and a Typhoon class submarine. Yeah, she's dead as can be. So our mission was a success, and we took no damage from that. So essentially what's going to happen now is I'm going to fast forward time here. I'm taking the submarine.
Con, maneuvering. Making turns for 3 knots.
Okay, and we are going to surface
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
because we are no longer beneath the ice.
Passing 500 feet.
We are going to surface
Passing 400 feet.
and stay on the surface for
300 feet.
the least amount of time as possible.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering up.
Level out, all stop,
Passing 100 feet.
level the bow planes, and we're gonna surface. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Alright, so let's go ahead and raise our radar and ESM mast to see if there's any contacts out here. And there are none. So we're alone. Okay.
Con
So
sonar,
mission
we are
complete.
cavitating.
Mission completed. As soon as our ballast tanks are equalized, we're gonna submerge and get out of enemy territory and go back home. So this is essentially gonna end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed the combat and got a little sneak preview about what this game is and why I play it so much. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.